Welcome back to my channel. I'm Maggie Ostara, and I am a human design and quantum human design certified expert and the creator of the 8 pillars of feminine sovereignty. And I'm delighted that you're here. Today's video is going to focus on the transit of the sun and the earth in the human design system that begins on July 7th and runs through the 12th. So we're going to be diving into this very specific gates that are being lit up by the sun and the earth so that you can make the most of these energies. You can maximize the benefits while mitigating or avoiding the pitfalls. Okay, let's get started. So on Sunday, July 7th, the sun is going to move into the gate 53, the gate of starting things or beginning things or getting started. And the earth is going to move into the gate 54, the gate of drive in traditional human design, or the gate of divine inspiration in quantum human design. Just a note here before we dive into the specifics of the sun and the earth, that the channel 4816 is still being lit up, and you've got just until the 16th of July to really be taking advantage of this energy. I know for me, this defines my throat, and so it gives me a different relationship to the 48 that's already defined in my chart, but the 16 is open for me. So having it being lit up during this time gives me access of my wisdom to my throat and to my ability to express my wisdom. So this is true for all of us, whatever our configuration is. Those of you who already have this channel defined in your chart, you're the ones who are probably going to feel it the least, whereas those of us who have some of it open will feel it more. So if you want to find out more about that, you can go and watch the major themes video for the month of July. I also talked about this quite a bit in the major themes for the month of June, because this is a theme that has been going on for the last 6 weeks or so. And it's going to continue, like I said, only just about another 10 days, not even 10 days, 9 days. So go ahead and find out more about that so you can discover how to really make the most of it. So the sun moving into the gate 53 is going to activate our energy to be able to begin, to be able to start, to get things going. And this is great because it's following up on a new moon on July 5th, which I talked about in the last transit report, which you can go and find here if you hadn't had a chance to see it yet, because I talk about that new moon a lot. But just to say here that we have a new moon on July 6th, which is in the gate 39, which is also where the sun was until the transit that starts on the 7th. And that's the gate of provocation or recalibration. And so we have the ability here in this new moon and here with this energy for starting things to be creating our own breakthroughs around our attachment or our beliefs in scarcity, to open up to the possibility of really getting it in the bones, right? Really getting it in our soma, if you will, not just around here as a concept, but something deep inside of us, that there really is enough for us and that we will have what we need when we need to have it. That is the message of the gate 55, which is the mate of the gate 39. And so the 39, that provocation, that provoking energy is about provoking our attachment to believing that there's not enough. We don't have enough. We're not going to have what we need. We need to accumulate it to avoid famine. For example, whether that's famine of food, famine of money, famine of love, whatever it might be, because we're kind of taught by our culture to hoard, right? So we want to be able to break apart that belief system so that we can stand in the truth that we are in a benevolent universe that is here wanting to support us and continually giving us guidance and bringing us what it is that we're focusing on and what we're desiring when we learn how to communicate with it, which in the human design system has to do with our strategy and our authority. So if you don't know about your strategy and authority, go and find my videos here about that, because they're actually really critical. So with that energy of the new moon, which is basically saying we're going to break apart the old that has to do with scarcity and believing that we're not in a benevolent universe. We've been breaking that apart during the previous transit. And so that created a new foundation for us. So as the sun is moving into this gate 53, the gate of starting things or beginning, getting things going, right? We have a fresh slate, as it were, in our relationship to abundance, in particular, in our relationship to spirit. And so I invite you to be thinking about, what is it that you want to start? What is it that you want to begin? What is it that has been kind of maybe on the back burner or a little bit in cold storage? And you're like, oh yeah, someday I'm going to get to that. Someday I'm going to want to start that. And tune in for yourself to see what is it that's lighting up for you that could be ready to get started. If you're one of those people who tends to procrastinate, tends to put things off, this is a great energy to help you break out of that pattern and start things. One of the best things you can do if you have a tendency to put things off or tend to procrastinate is to just begin, because a lot of times the beginning is the hardest part. Now, you do have to kind of lean into the energy of the beginning, and you're going to have the sun lighting this up for 5 days. So you're going to have some support for a few days, not just, a little blip, a few days where you can really focus on that and get over the inertia that might be holding you in place. And looking at what are the thoughts that you have. What are your beliefs about whatever it is that you've wanted to start, but you just are, no, it's not the right time. I'm not ready. The world's not ready. I don't have the energy for that. I don't really care all that much, Oh gosh, it's just so much easier just to stay the way I've been. So you're going to have some energy to give you that oomph you need to move forward. And it's great to be doing that during this time when the sun is really big in the sky here in the Northern Hemisphere. We've got a lot of energy that is supporting us for this. And so, here we are in July, and we have the sun that is really just kind of saying, okay, now is the time. So the gate 53, which is being lit up by the sun, and the gate 54, which is being lit up by the earth, they are both in the root center, all the way down in the base of the pelvis, all the way down in the perineum, down where the tailbone is, right? Down at the base of the spine. And so these are energies that are related to our relationship to the earth, and this has to do with our abundance. It has to do with our faith that the earth is providing for us what we need, that we have what we are going to need in our lives. And so you want to be looking at what's your relationship to your root energy. Do you feel safe here on the planet? Are there ways that you can create more safety for yourself? Not necessarily by throwing up walls, right? Or just staying away from other people or, keeping things away from you. But how do you create more safety for yourself by feeling the blessing of gravity? My teacher, Susan Harper, who is a master creator and teacher of Continuum, talks about gravity as a spiritual force of belonging. And no better place to feel that spiritual force of belonging than in that root center, because it is the place where we really connect with the earth. So just noticing for yourself, how rooted do you feel? How supported by the planetary intelligence do you feel? How much time are you getting outside with your feet or sitting on the earth or lying on the earth so that you can feel that energy and feel supported? How often do you pay attention to how gravity is acting upon you? And in a benevolent and kind way. Because if we didn't have gravity, we'd all fly off into the cosmos. I mean, that's what happens on other planets, right? Other places where there isn't gravity, things just don't stay, right? So it's the way that the earth is holding us in this beautiful embrace. And so over the course of this whole month of July, the root center is what's being highlighted. And so you have a lot of opportunity to be building your connection with that earth energy and that sense of rootedness. So the sun is going to be saying to you, yes, root yourself down so you can begin. Because in order to begin, it feels really good to have a foundation. Feels really good to have something that we feel is solid and stable underneath us so that we can reach forward, so that we can start new things. So if you feel a little reticent about starting, you feel a little bit of that procrastination, see if you can root yourself a bit more. See if you can plug in to that benevolent, wise, generous, compassionate, loving energy of the planetary body and allow that to support you so you can feel that embrace, if you will, of gravity so that then you can feel more confident about starting things and moving forward. Then the earth is lighting up the gate 54. The gate 54 is the gate of drive in traditional human design, or the gate of divine inspiration in quantum human design. Again, it's also on the root center. And so it's also energy you want to root yourself into, and it's the earth is lighting it up, right? So it's kind of like the earth is saying, okay, pay attention to this particular energy. I do want to share my personal experience with this gate because I think it might be helpful for those of you who maybe have been overachievers or have had a tendency to overwork or to overfunction or to give too much, to be too much of a giver. My moon is actually lighting up the gate 54. And in human design, the moon is what drives you. And it was in the gate of drive or the gate of ambition. And I know when I found that, I was like, oh gosh, no wonder I have so much inner drive. And drive is great. Okay. Ambition is good. Provided it's not ambition to have power over, to coerce or manipulate, to create what's good for you at the cost, or harm to other people or to our planet or to animals or whatever it might be. Right. But the thing is that because the way our culture operates, it really teaches us to overfunction. It teaches us to work too long. And the technology that we have now makes it really easy to do that, right? Because, we've got a 24/7 access to the internet, access to power, whatever we need, whether that's to keep us warm or to keep us cool. We have lights, right? We can live a virtually 24/7 life, except that, of course, we can't because we're human beings and we have animal bodies and they need to rest. But there is this kind of quality of drive, of ambition, of pushing, of making things happen. And I know I was caught up in that for many years. It was great for achievement, right? Really good for achievement. Deeply harmful to me as a person, deeply harmful for my body over time, and also to my spirit. I burnt out multiple times. And so I have to really watch that energy and keep it under my own charge as my own sovereign self, saying, I'm not going to let that energy run me ragged. Instead, I'm going to use it really for my own purposes. And this is one of the reasons I love that it's been renamed divine inspiration in quantum human design. Because if you think about the quality of drive or ambition versus divine inspiration, right? Drive or ambition is kind of like your forward motion, you're active, you're making things happen. I spent the majority of my life believing that it was my job to make things happen, right? Raise your hand if this is true for you, right? So if that's been true for you, this is the way that we all get taught. And yet it's not really true. And human design teaches us this. It shows us how we're in a co-creative experience with the flow of life all the time. Whatever your type is, all of us are in this co-creative relationship with this larger creative intelligence of the universe. It's not all up to us, and yet we can get that way. So one of the things that can be really healing about this is when we can have that rooted experience that I was talking about a minute ago, right? With the root center and our relationship to the earth, we realize that the earth is here to support us as well. And that we don't have to, and in fact, we can't and never do create everything on our own. It's an illusion to believe that. We're actually all deeply interconnected, both with other people, but also with the planet, with all living beings. And so we're part of a really dynamic and complex and interesting cosmos. But we've been taught that we're individual, we're autonomous. If it's to be, it's up to me, right? So, and unfortunately, believing in drive and ambition can totally feed that story. But when we make the transition to being like, oh, divine inspiration, immediately we kind of come back inside ourselves, root down, and become receptive, right? Because inspiration comes to us. We don't make inspiration happen. You can't make inspiration happen. You receive inspiration. And what is inspiration? The guidance that is coming from your own inner being or your divine self, right? From the cosmos, from the creative intelligence of the universe, right? The divine inspiration comes to us and we receive it. And then we can utilize it in our lives. It's a very different way of experiencing this quality of energy of the 54 than that drive or that ambition. I have even received in meditation direction from my own divine self to stop thinking of it as drive and to start thinking of it as divine inspiration. And that shift has been great for me because it's helped me to become more receptive. It's helped me to tune in more. It's helped me to kind of gather the energy of this because it is a potent energy, right? Ambition or drive are potent energies. It is a potent energy, but to gather it and harness it and hold it so that it's not driving me to behave in ways that are actually harmful to me, which unfortunately ambition can do. And it helps me to be more inside myself and to realize that I am in an deeply interconnected universe where I can receive guidance and opportunities and resources when I tap inside myself. So for you, as the earth is lighting up this energy, it's a great opportunity for you to look at what's your relationship to drive or ambition. What's your relationship to overfunctioning or overgiving or overdoing? And can you make that switch to becoming more receptive? And sitting on the earth can really help you do that, because sitting on the earth and just tuning into what's happening underneath you, right, is a receptive kind of felt sense experience. It's not a mental experience. You're not thinking about it. You are feeling into it. And to receive divine inspiration, it's the same thing. You want to receive it. You want to be open to it. You could want to open up your felt sense, open up your inner faculties, your intuitive psychic abilities to receive this inspiration. It's not something you're going to figure out. It's not something you're going to think about, right? It doesn't come from that place. It comes from a different place. This is a beautiful energy to have, to really be supporting you as you're also wanting to start things, right? As you're wanting to move some things forward, as you can be like, oh, I'm going to lean into the divine inspiration I have about whatever it is, this thing that you have been wanting or now come to want to start, right? How can I become divinely inspired about that? So I enter into it with that feeling of divine inspiration rather than feeling like I've got to make this happen. I've got to work on it. I'm going to stick with this until I make it happen. Right? It's very different. It's kinder on your nervous system. It's kinder on your physical body. It's kinder on your emotional body. And it'll also make you easier to be around. Because when we're too much in the drive ambition, sometimes we're not so easy to be around. I know, because sometimes I would run that energy. And I didn't find myself so easy to be around at times. So just check that out for yourself and see how you can soften but not diminish this quality of energy of the 54, because it's still a very powerful energy. Divine inspiration is very, very powerful. So you want to be able to tap into that and receive all of the goodness that is available to you during this transit. I want to give you an update on my plans for the Becoming Sovereign Quantum Retreat Center. Now, I've had this online retreat center for a year and a half or so, and many people have been coming in and participating in the curated courses and the live events that I've been doing, and there's event replays. There's a lot of really great material in there already. And I am in the process of putting together a new way for us to work and play together in an environment that helps us to really develop the lives that are satisfying and meaningful for us, where we can make the contribution we want to make, where we can feel really on purpose. Because a lot of times what we want is not well supported by the outer culture. Many times receive energy and guidance to be putting ourselves into tracks of development that are not actually aligned with us. To have jobs that aren't particularly satisfying, even to have relationships that don't work out all that well, right? For ways to be with our body that aren't healthy and supportive of our vitality. There's so many things that are going on outside in the outer world. So what we want to be able to do is tune ourselves into our inner world, and to be able to work with that, and then to be in communities that have passion and purpose and powerful practices that enable us to do that. So this is what I am currently developing for inside of the Becoming Sovereign Quantum Retreat Center. It's going to be a new level of membership, which will require an investment, and it's called the Sovereign Circle. Now, this is not available yet. I just want to let you know that it's happening. I did get a little bit delayed in my plans because I did get COVID and was down for a couple of weeks, and I'm still recovering. I'm doing much better, but my energy is lower than usual, and I really have to be careful that I don't relapse. So things are a little bit delayed, but it's definitely going to happen. And there will be a level that opens in August. So kind of just bookmark this for yourself, and I'll be giving you more information soon as to what the particulars of this are. Now, there are two things that go along with this. One is I want to suggest that you go ahead, if you haven't already, and just join us in the Becoming Quantum Retreat Center. It is free to join. As I said, there's event recordings that are in there. I will do a few live events this month. There's also curated courses that are in there. You can connect with other people. So you can just go ahead and get started now, and the link will be down below and at the end of the video for you to join us there. And then if you do that, you'll be among the first to know about these developments for the Sovereign Circle. Then I also have a request that if this is something that interests you, that you give me your input about what it is that you're most looking for, what you feel would really feed your longing. And so I have a simple survey form. It'll take you like less than 5 minutes to fill it out. I'll put the link down in the description. And I would so love it if you would just go in and just let me know, like, what is it that most matters to you? I've given a bunch of options for things I want to include in the Sovereign Circle. And you have options to go ahead and tell me about things that I didn't list. There'll be, places to say, yeah, what do you want to, if I haven't listed something, let me know what it is, because I want to know. So I would so appreciate it. That's one of the ways that you can give a little love back to me from giving you all of this material and all of the videos that I create for you every month. I would really appreciate that. Okay, go ahead and give this a like if you got benefit from the video today, and subscribe if you want to keep being informed as soon as these videos come out. All right, many blessings, much love. Bye for now.